Hello and welcome to this month's edition of Farm to Frankfort. This month features special guest, Kentucky Secretary of State Michael Adams. As many of you know, 2023 is an important election year in Kentucky, electing statewide offices from governor to agriculture commissioner. What you might not know is there have been a number of election changes since COVID, and here to discuss a few of those changes is Secretary of State Michael Adams. Mr. Secretary, good to have you here with us.
Thanks, Kyle. Glad to be here.
Our organization prides ourselves on our Get Out the Vote effort. As part of that effort, we like to inform our members of ways in which they can vote and the days in which they can vote. Mr. Secretary, the primary election's right around the corner. Can you tell us when primary election day is and also speak to us about the early in-person voting laws that have recently been enacted?
So the primary election for registered Democrats and Republicans is May 16th. It's a Tuesday. But that's not the only option voters have. They can vote by absentee ballot if they qualify. They can vote at the clerk's office early if they qualify. They can vote early in person the Thursday, Friday, Saturday before the election, 11th through 13th of May, without any excuse necessary. Or, of course, they can vote on Tuesday, the 16th, if they wish. And to find where to vote, if you go to our website, govote.ky.gov, we've got all the information there. You can check your registration, check your information. You can request an absentee ballot, you can volunteer to be a poll worker, and you can find your locations to vote in person.
Yeah. If somebody's recently had a change of address, they've moved recently, maybe they're curious about where do they vote now? Where are they currently registered in the previous city, their new city? If they're curious about that, is there a website that they can go to find out where they're currently registered to vote at?
Yeah, govote.ky.gov is the Swiss Army knife of Kentucky elections. We've got everything there. You can pull up your file, your registration, see what party you're in, what address the state has you voting at in terms of your address, but also the places that you can vote in your community. It may not just be your precinct, it may be other vote centers as well.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And our organization, it's very important to our members that they have plenty of opportunities. May is a busy month for farmers and agriculturalists, and it's busy for many people. And what does low turnout mean in the state of Kentucky, and how does that kind of impact the Get Out the Vote effort?
So the election in a 4-year cycle that has the lowest turnout is this one. It's the primary in the gubernatorial year. That's really frustrating because, of course, I'm in Frankfort every day and I see how important it is that we have good people in these constitutional offices. But in the last election, we had 19% turnout in this primary election. The 4 years before that, we had 12.5% turnout in the 2015 primary. We had 10% turnout, 10%. In the 2011 primary. So we're getting better, but I want to see us get above 20 if we possibly can. When you have low turnout, what that means is certain fringe elements, super woke Democrats and super far right Republicans have an advantage because they're very motivated, they're very organized, and just good common sense people in the middle, which is the vast majority of the voting population, if they're complacent, if they don't vote, then that distorts the outcomes politically, and it makes Frankfort more polarized.
So it's as important as ever to get out and vote.
Absolutely.
In this May primary.
Yeah, and your vote counts just that much more when your neighbor isn't voting.
Right, very important. Yeah. So you often state one of your goals, your objectives as Secretary of State is making it easy to vote but hard to cheat. Can you talk a little bit about some election changes, election law changes over the last 2 or 3 years that's happened in Frankfort that's helped to secure, ensure that our elections are easy to vote but hard to cheat?
So I would say that we've done more in the last 4 years than we've done in the prior 200 in terms of making it both easy to vote and hard to cheat. Obviously, expanded voting is really important for our voters. And interestingly, the counties that had the highest utilization of early voting in the 2020 election when we first started it, it wasn't the urban centers. It wasn't Lexington or Louisville. It was Clinton County, places like that. They actually had the highest utilization of early voting. If you go back 200 years to our founding as a state, we had 4-day voting periods. We've gone back to the future. The reason we had 4 days to vote is because we're a rural state. And it's a lot easier for people to have a distance to travel to go vote if you give them more time. And for farmers, having that day, if you want to go ahead and vote on Thursday, knowing that you're going to have better weather on Friday or Saturday or Tuesday, go ahead and get your vote banked instead of waiting. So it's in everyone's interest. But what we've also found is that we're the only state in America that's making it easy to vote, but also clamping down on security. Some states are just pushing one or the other. It's a both and. You can have both at the same time. So we've implemented photo ID to vote. I got sued 3 times over that, but we won every case in court. We've banned ballot harvesting. We've upgraded our technology to make it more secure. We've done reasonable things that don't suppress voters, that still let voters vote, but also make the election more secure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for all your work there, Mr. Secretary, and thank you for being here today. Any kind of departing words of wisdom to our membership, and just once again encouraging them to get out and vote this May?
Yeah, it's never been easier to vote in Kentucky history than it has been during my term of office. We've really bent over backwards to make sure people can vote. Ultimately, it's not on me to drive the turnout. I can't make people vote. I can lead a horse to water, but it's really in Kentuckians' interest to go vote. We're choosing our governor. We're choosing our Secretary of State, other important offices. We've certainly learned the last 4 years how important those offices are. And if you like or don't like decisions that we have made, you have an opportunity to fire us. Or if you like us, you can keep us. But it's your call. And unless you vote, your neighbor's going to vote, and your neighbor's going to decide who the governor and Secretary of State are.
That's right. That's right. Kentucky Farm Bureau encourages everybody to take advantage of the opportunity to get out and vote this May. As you heard from Secretary Adams, early in-person voting begins May the 11th, and the primary election day is Tuesday, May 16th. Please go vote and encourage your friends and family to do the same. Remember the old saying, I farm, I vote. Let's hold true to that. Thank you.